Hello, everybody. Tracy, hi, aloha. Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
How are you guys?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Heather's here. And Miche. Oh, wow, good crew today. Yay, it's been a while since I've seen everyone. There
Hey,
she is. How are you guys?
good. Happy to be here.
Same here. It's been a very slow-moving Saturday. Gonna do this, make cookies, and take a nap. That's my day. I'm excited. There's Karen. Hi. All
Hey,
right.
Karen.
I'm glad she made it. Good. Seems like
Tiana's
it.
coming any minute.
Good. Yeah, I was gonna see if we could make sure that she got the link as well.
Yeah.
I'll wait a
I'm
minute.
here too, Jess.
Oh, hey, Heather.
Hey.
All right. Heather, remind me, I have a question about my calendar.
Okay,
I didn't touch it, I promise.
good.
While we wait for Tiana, hi, everybody. Some new faces, some old faces. Rachel, hi. I don't know if I've seen you recently in one of our sessions. How are you?
I haven't been around lately. I'm doing well, though. Thank you.
Good. Welcome. And I see Jennifer's joining us. Very good. Okay, so today is a little bit different, but it's also a little bit a lot of the same. So, there she is. Hi, Dr. Tiana. She made it. Good.
Hello all. Hi, Jessa.
Hi. All right.
Hi,
So
Tiana.
today is going to be a lot about things that you've already heard of from Heartfelt. You've all heard of the psychological triggers. Tracy does her magic with them. It's a whole new spreadsheet and everything. So all of you know at least of them. If you need them, if you need a refresher on them, I have so many trainings on them. Just raise your hand and I'll find the right one for you, because it depends on what kind of business you have and what angle you're coming at. Which version of how to use these is going to be right for you. If you're a mortgage bank, it's going to be a little different than if you're a Reiki healer. You're going to use the same psychology, but just differently. And so we're doing the same thing here today, but it's not so much about your business. It is, because you're going to manifest whatever you need for your business, clients or connections or exposure or whatever it might be, but using them in a very different way. And so this all came from a chat that I had with Miche. So she's going to be like, oh yeah, I heard that. Why am I here? Okay. But I'm going in a little bit further because I've really been sitting with it, speaking to my own spiritual facilitator and really thinking about this and watching the collective around me as well. What are the other conversations that are happening in the collective around this kind of thing? And granted, it's not always this sort of thing, but it's just a general topic that's happening right now in the cosmos, or I don't know. This is why I have professionals who know these things. But what I wanted to talk about today was my luck, or my ability to just always have everything pretty much always work out for me, no matter what I'm putting myself through. And it's been a year. Most of you know, how the heck, how did she get through that completely unscathed? Heather's known me for 30 years. There have been some things where, how did she survive? How did she literally not blow up? How did that happen? So I want to give you guys, for my business especially, but this is a very personal thing as well. If you all watched the live that I did like 6 months ago, maybe even longer, about my story and how I came to the triggers myself, then you'll kind of have a little bit more of a feel that the triggers aren't just a business tool for me. They were a life skill that I had to teach myself, and then I translated them into business and parenting and friendship and relationships and all of that. So it's my truth. These things, they're part of my truth. And so what I want to do is I want to show you how I use them to actually manifest whatever it is that I need, because it's part of a system. Hi, Anne. There she is. Welcome. So my luck code, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. You've all been calling it something else when you talk to me. You're like, what is it? Is there like a button somewhere? What do I do here to actually have that ease and that grit at the same time, to have that grace, but have that sense of direction and growth, always growing. I'm always changing something. I'm always dropping something, adding something, introducing you all to new people and ideas, that kind of thing. So this is my hack. This is it. And it's really 3 simple things. Very, very simple. Number 1, if you want to be lucky, you got to be prepared. Always be prepared, right? I mean, Girl Scouts, you know, always be prepared. And there's a way to do that. And you want to make sure that you're doing it regularly, always making sure that you're prepared. And then what we want to do is once we're prepared, once the little things start showing up, you want to follow the breadcrumbs rather than be like, oh yeah, it's great, I got $200, but I still really need to manifest this like $5 grand. How do I do that? How do I do that? Shut up, $250, shut up, $250. I need this, I need this. So instead of doing that, we want to follow the gratitude. So and it leaves breadcrumbs for you. It's like, hi, here's something for you to come this way. Come on this way. And Anne can attest to it. She was one of the tipping points that I needed recently. I was like, okay, I really just need to revamp, restart, come all over again. I had just arrived back in the States from years and years away. I'm like, all right, universe, I'm prepared. I rebranded and I, popped back on the scene again, started doing workshops. And the next thing I know, Anne's like, you remember that thing we talked about a year ago? Can I still do that? And I was like, absolutely, that would be amazing. And I was like, great, something popped off, right? And so I started following the breadcrumbs that she had been the facilitator. I was like, oh, so maybe that program is still a good idea. So I launched that program again, a little rocky. Like, maybe I'll try something different and I'll follow. Oh, remember when that worked? Remember when that worked? Remember when that worked? And the next thing you know, things are flowing right back where they needed to be again. But I was prepared before that. But then the final piece of that is to show up from that space of gratitude and ease. So I'm going to talk you through each of these steps. So step 1, be prepared. That's the first thing we're going to talk about. Step 2, follow the breadcrumbs. And I want us all to really think about, where have we seen a breadcrumb before and been like, I don't want bread, I want steak. We want to make sure that we're following those breadcrumbs and then showing up with ease and grace. And that's usually one of the bigger pieces for people, is how do I do that? I am showing up. I'm sitting there with my headphones on, doing lives all day long, and I'm showing up and nobody's listening. So let's work that out and figure out where or how or from what angle we need to be doing that. So before I go into any of these things, let's talk about being prepared to be prepared. So being prepared, for a lot of people who are very type A, like I used to be, oh, it was bad. Many of you remember those days. Being prepared meant have a list, go down the checklist and be like, all right, got that. Oh, I forgot oatmeal. Okay, now I'm prepared for my week, right? That is not how I prepare myself anymore. Not even close. Yes, I have a grocery list, but I think I forgot something and I'm like, whatever. I got flowers, I'm good. So what we want to do is make sure that we're prepared all the way through. And being prepared for something, especially on a really big personal level, doesn't mean having all your ducks in a row. I don't even know where my ducks are. As long as they're happy and healthy, it's good. It's good. It's really more about knowing what to hold on to and what to let go of. And that's what I really want you guys to be thinking about, especially in this space and time right now, is the letting go, the releasing of it. Release all attachment to what you think you're prepared for, or what you think used to work for you, or what you know used to. If you have absolute proof that this, let's say, program worked amazingly 6 months ago, and I know that if I launch it again right now, I'm gonna make another 25 grand this week, and it's gonna be amazing. So you probably try it, and it probably won't work because you're too attached to that. You feel like you're already prepared. Like you don't have to get creative, nothing needs to come from it, no new angles, no new ideas. You don't need to reassess your sphere. You don't need to reach out to anybody new because it worked last time and it'll work this time. That's not gonna work. Trust me, I tried it recently and I was like, I knew better. I was just in a rush. I rushed through my preparedness. So what I wanna do is release everything. Just release it. Everything you think you know about your business. And right now we're just talking about business, but whether it's a relationship or your children and what you think they need from you, or you're buying a house or whatever it is you're trying to manifest, release it all. Release it. So tomorrow's Sunday, and it's my day where I pre-plan my week. It's also the new moon, so it's a really good time for this. Just release everything. So for me, I'm going to release everything I think I know, feel, and understand about Heartfelt, my business. I'll release the whole thing. Something might need to change, and I fully am intending to change something. You guys have all seen me tweak something, change something, my imagery, my branding, the pictures, the tagline. You all see me tweaking something, it's because I'm releasing something else. When we release what we think we understand, we're making room for all of the other possibilities to come in. There's no more filter. There's no, this has to work, otherwise I'm a failure because it worked last time. If it doesn't work this time, then what's wrong with me? Release all of it. Release the name of your business. I'm constantly talking to myself, should I change the name of my business? Should it still be called Heartfelt? That's huge. Like, why would I do that? People are like, you are heartfelt. How and why would you do that? But I have to be open to at least the idea of complete overhaul, if that's what it takes to get where it is that I want to go with my life. I cannot become complacent with what I have, because that's not growth. Being okay with what you have means you're only going to have that. And those things are going to shrink as everything else around you appreciates. So we don't want that. Be open to complete overhaul. If you are like, I am an online coach and that's my only jam, and I only want to work like a digital nomad and I will never have on-ground clients, release it. Your neighbor might need your help right now. And it might be like a 2-month contract or something, and it'll be the best thing that you ever did. Release it. If you're saying, I only do this particular modality and that's what I'm best at and this is where I want to go, release it. Another skill or another idea or another avenue might present itself to you. It's not, I need to get this person to pay me this much for this thing. That is not preparedness. That is being kind of ridiculous. You're gonna put yourself in a hole that way. So you want to say, I need to manifest the lifestyle that it is that I want. Or for me, I need to maintain the lifestyle it is that I deserve. So you want to release it all, because if you release any attachment to it, then you can create room for gratitude and inspiration and other ideas. Now, let's not go get scared here. I'm not saying you will change everything about your reality, but at least be open to the idea, because it's exciting, really exciting. When I first started using this, I was like, okay, maybe I don't have to be a New Yorker anymore. That would be crazy, right? What would I do? Where would I go? And the next thing I know, I'm living in the Caribbean for 4 years. It's fun if you let it be playful. So be playful with it. Release any attachments you have to your current reality, and let's go forward and see what else we have to work with. And now we're prepared to get prepared. So make sure you go through that release. And if you have any questions about it, reach out to me. If you're feeling resistance, raise your hand. Let's talk about it, because a lot of people feel resistance to it. Like, I've been doing this forever. This is what I've known for. How do you do it? You know, that sort of thing. There are lots of different things that we can do to just, I don't know, have a tickle fight. It's a good way to start. Just release. So what we want to do next is now actually start going through our own personal checklist. And for me, the checklist is the psychological triggers. Raise your hand if you've never heard of the psychological triggers. Anybody? Good. Okay, so I won't go through all of them. I have hours and hours and hours of trainings for you guys on what they are. But what I want to do is just briefly go through them and give you some ideas as to how to approach these so that we're prepared. Not so that we're markety, not so that we're trying to pull people in. This is where we become manifestable. This is where we give the universe everything that it needs. We're prepared. Here I am to actually help us get what it is that we're looking for here. Does that make sense? Anne?
So just to clarify, so by being prepared, you mean being emotionally, mentally prepared, like being open, not being attached. So
Right.
not having a checklist and having your website ready.
Right. Well, there's that side of it too.
Okay.
But we don't want to even touch your website until we're coming to your website from the right direction. Does that make sense? So we want to make sure that we're covering the being first, then the doing, because we're going to have much more inspiration and ease when it comes to the doing side of things if we're in the right mental, emotional, and spiritual state. Because we're open, where we've released attachment to what it is we think we know and own about our reality, because we don't. And we're creating room for, okay, what else you got for me here? Give me some ideas. All right, let's see what comes, rather than, oh, what do I need to do? Let's just see what comes. Go from there. So when it comes to the psychological triggers, definitely look at it. I actually make 2 lists. They're the exact same list, but one is what I call hard, and the other one is soft. Or in, if you're thinking about it in more spiritual terms, what my more feminine and masculine side of the being and the doing, what my objectives are. So I first go through the list and think about the soft side of it, the actual feminine or being side of the psychological trigger. So that first one is clarity. And that's where I come in hard and strong. I'm like sipping my coffee Sunday morning and I'm like, so am I aligned with this right now? Do I love my business right now? Do I love the name of it? Do I love who I'm serving? Do I love how it serves me? Do I love my process? Am I feeling it, or am I just doing it? Am I just waking up in the morning being like, okay, everybody, good morning. What's good? Can I help you? Or am I like, all right, Monday, let's go. So I really want to sit with, am I aligned? Do I have that clarity for myself that I'm like, in the morning, my alarm goes off at 5:30 and I'm like, let's go. Or am I like, okay, my session's at 9, I can sleep until 8:30 and pretend that I didn't. And I have weeks that are both. I do, I'm not gonna lie. I have weeks that are absolutely both of them. And that's when I know that I have to reassess. Like, okay, how can I do this differently? How can I approach it differently? What is my alignment? And when it comes to my alignment, I always come back to two very, very specific things: my values and my motivators. And when I started Heartfelt, they were two different things than they are right now. They're always growing. Your values can grow. You don't have to say, I really love kittens and never ever love dogs in your life. You can change. You can grow. You can have and be whatever you want as long as you give yourself permission. So are your values the same as they were last week? Are your motivators the same? Are they tweaked even just a little bit? They don't have to change. They can just be a little different. Like for me, a year ago, 2 years ago, when I just started Heartfelt, one of my big motivators was financial stability. And it's still a big motivator, but it's not as much of a motivator for me because I kind of have it now. So I'm not always trying to reach for it. I got that. So now my motivator is more connections and growth and growing spiritually, so that we're creating like a network or web of spiritually inclined business owners to help raise the collective vibe. A little bit different. We all want to be, financially secure, but that's my motivator. It's a little different, but it's still a little the same. So really get creative with it. Just feel it in your body. Like, yeah, that's still the same. That keeps me going. That gets me up. Yeah, okay. Or is it the kind of thing, yeah, I think about that sometimes when I'm cooking dinner. I don't know. Sometimes when I'm just spacing out. So really sit with that. Are you aligned? And then when you take that same trigger, again, the biggest example, trigger number 1, the being side. Am I aligned? Am I feeling this way? Am I loving it? Am I silly feeling? Like, can I just be lighthearted and playful or not? And then when you've decided that, then you worry about the being, or you worry about the doing side of that same trigger. So trigger number 1, you know what? Not actually feeling that aligned right now. Something's not, I don't know, just hitting, I don't feel like a mic drop is about to happen for me this week based on how I feel right now. So what I want to do is, okay, that's my truth. Awesome. Owning it, having that moment of excitement, release, right? Okay, what do I not feel good about? What do I want to change? What is not quite crisp for me right now? Release it. And then go into the doing side of it with that set of inspirations for yourself. Whereas coming from behind and above rather than below and trying to like vomit something out of you that may or may not work. So now let's go to the doing side of it, and that same trigger of alignment and clarity. What can I do with my business to change that or grow that or become more clear or more aligned? So you've all seen, since I got back in the States, my alignment's changed a little bit. No more palm trees. I'm sitting in front of fireplaces, and my branding and stuff like this. Just a little bit more pizzazz, a little bit more, let's go. Are you ready or not? Come on, everybody. I'm not here to just be friendly and be somebody that you like dearly. I'm going to kick your butt. Let's go. So I want you all to feel with that. And so I went and I changed my tagline a little bit. I updated the cover of my group, and little things like this that you've all noticed. But now that you've seen it, you can look back and you can be like, that's where she was in her cycle. She was preparing herself for growth, for change. She's actually doing one step at a time, moving one foot in front of the other. And so that is how I go through the entire list. Now, there are some that are a little bit trickier than others. And some of them aren't important at all, because once you've figured it out, it's like, well, yeah, I know that I have my credentials and that's where they are, and, you know, that sort of thing. My website is there. I'm not going to change my URL, you know, that kind of thing. But some of the big ones, especially the softer skills, like 1 through 5, yeah, definitely sit with those and make sure. And so I do a deep look on Sundays. Usually just kind of spend the day sitting with it, even like going for a walk with the kids and feeling into each one of them and how do I feel about the next week, that kind of thing. And then once I've done that, I feel prepared. And there are times where I'll do it every morning if I need to. What didn't work? What didn't work yesterday? How can I better prepare? How can I better prepare? And once you've gone through all of the psychological triggers, at least 1 through 5, 6, good win. I want you to then sit with what happens. Once you're prepared, that means you're feeling you, right? Other people are feeling you. They're seeing you differently because you're tweaking things or you're adding things, and they're like, what is happening over there? It's like, I hear construction practically on her Facebook page. What's going on over there? So people are just starting to perk up a little bit and notice you. So now what we want to do is just follow any breadcrumbs that you've seen. Now, other people will say, well, why don't you do that last? Well, I'm constantly doing it, but let's just say this is your first go around with this. Let's follow any gratitude breadcrumbs that are already present for you. What is working? So you made your tweaks, you're feeling good, you're opening, it's almost like you can see clearer, you can smell things better, you're feeling your business because you're actually doing something. You're making moves and actions and feelings and that sort of thing. It feels really good. So be aware, use that hyper awareness that you now all of a sudden have for your excitement to be super aware of what's working. Is somebody liking your new Facebook banner? That's awesome, right? Awesome, great. Thanks so much for liking that. Just use the gratitude and feel into what feels good. Are people leaning in and asking questions, giving you an opportunity to create even more clarity? What? That's awesome. Yes. So you want to keep leaning into it and leaning into it. And now in the beginning, if you're just starting your business, the odds of this turning into a client in a day is slim. So we want to make sure that we're going all the way through the system. So the gratitude crumbs is where you're going to create your momentum. Just every time you pick up a crumb, thank that person or create a conversation or offer them something or invite them to join your group, whatever it might be. Gratitude crumbs, anything that's happening. So for example, you just opened everything up and 3 people were like, yeah, I'll be part of that conversation. They're like, yes, awesome, let's go. Let's make this happen, rather than, oh, only 3 people wanted to have a conversation with me. Well, maybe you're not prepared enough to have a conversation with 300 people. Start with the 3, see what they teach you so that you can prepare for the next 297 people to come in and help you help them. So go with the gratitude, lean into it. If people are asking questions, if people are watching replays, if people are liking things, don't be afraid to be like, hey, thanks for liking that. Can you tell me why? What did you like about that? It's not going to like freak people out for you to be like, hey, thank you. They're actually going to like it. That's how gratitude works. They like feeling appreciated and you like feeling appreciated. And then it just turns into this big old Kundalini spiral of goodness, right? So we want to make sure we're following this program. Find them everywhere. Keep a list of them. I actually have a spreadsheet, yes, a spreadsheet of things that I've learned each day, little gratitudes that I have each day. And I pick one big one each day. And I have a list for years long. It's like 2 years long now. From the first day that I started this all the way still. I put one thing in a day. And sometimes I have a bad day and I'm like, yeah, so-and-so's a jerk. That's what I learned today. Thank you for that knowledge. But there are days most often where I'm just like, wow, this happened, or that program's ahead, or this is a way to use this language, or, just so many different things. So one thing a day even, but keep a list of them. And the longer that list, so most of us have gratitude journals. This is a really exciting way to use it. The breadcrumbs, just keep a list of the breadcrumbs, because if you collect enough breadcrumbs, you've got a loaf of bread, and then we can eat, right? That's what we want. That is what we're looking for. So once we've started following these breadcrumbs and we're kind of absorbing the gratitude and we're giving the gratitude and we're really moving things forward, It's really, really exciting. And this was something that Dr. Tiana speaks to as well. I was like, one day before she did a live about it was when I put it into practice again for myself. And that's when Anne came on, and that's when everything else started popping up. So it's not just me. This is a practice that many of us up here in the entrepreneurial world use. Gratitude is a massive, massive tool. And Tiana, if you want to put in the link to your description of the process as well, I think that her take on it is, it's different than mine, but it's also, we could be sisters. I don't know. It's really interesting. So please take a look at your breadcrumbs. Follow them. Don't be like, oh, yeah, but that's not big enough. I don't want that one. That's going to shut the whole thing down. The whole thing down. You cannot do that for yourself. You can't be like, oh, but I'm playing bigger than that. You can't play bigger if you don't even know how to play small. If you're not prepared to play small and grab those little breadcrumbs and hold on to them, then you're not going to be able to play big, because you won't even know your receiving ability won't be big enough to even hold on to it. So play with those breadcrumbs and be grateful for them. All right. Any questions on what qualifies as a breadcrumb? I think we all should understand, but I just want to make sure that I'm not moving too fast. There's Michelle. Hey. Good. All right. So I want to be getting messages from people. This was a breadcrumb I found today. This was a breadcrumb I found today. So I just want to see what yours look like for you. And maybe I can help you get even more creative, or give you some. I can give you some breadcrumbs. I got lots of them. I come from a place of overflow, so I'll give you some of my own breadcrumbs too. So once you've done that, now it's time to actually show up from that space of overflow and gratitude. And we want to do it with ease and grace. We don't want to show up saying, all right, I have so much information that I need to give you, because if I don't give it to you, then I'm not going to make any money. So let's just all sit down and write this down. Let's go. We don't want that. We also don't want, so my coach made me do this. So hi, what do you want to talk about? We don't want to do that either. We want to say, oh my gosh, I had this epiphany that you all need to hear this, and here it is. That's exactly what this right here is. I don't even know how long this is going to last. We've been here for like half an hour. It could be for the 4 hours. I don't know. I'm coming from a space of overflow, and I think I have a chat. Awesome. Very good. Thank you, Tiana. There it is. All right. So we want to come from that space of overflow. And the only way we're going to get that overflow is, number one, if we release what the block is, whatever it is. Just like, okay, fine, good, whatever it may or may not be, I'm releasing it. And then getting prepared for it, and then filling ourselves up with these breadcrumbs. That's how we create overflow. And that's where we want to come from. We want to come from that space of, if I don't get this off my chest right now, I'm going to explode. This is exciting. I really think you want to hear it this way or that way. And that's really, really exciting. And it's that vibration that we're going to have. And I hope that Tiana can hold on for a few minutes. I want to talk to her. She's got another really great take on it. This is not a webinar for Tiana, but she's a mentor of mine and I love her dearly. But it's from that vibration of overflow. Like, I have so much that I can just give it. And those of you who've been working with me for 2+ years, you know that that's what this is about. I have so much more. This is how it looks like. I give it all away and I still profit, because I'm not giving it all away. There's an unlimited supply coming in, downloading itself to me constantly of what it is that you need and what it is that I can offer. Because I release the fact that maybe it's not. I'm prepared for it. I'm clearing space and creating that sense of organized chaos for myself. And then I'm showing up and saying, this is the overflow that I have. The rest of the stuff, come and get it if you want. But it's that overflow that we're coming from, in that sense of ease and grace, especially if you're in the online world. One-on-one, it's a lot easier for most of us to actually like connect, really just bring it in and like look each other in the eye and be like, I get you, soul sister, what's for dinner? Right? But when we're online, it's a little different. We have this expectation. And I was actually just talking to Michelle about this earlier. She's like, if you don't say that in this workshop, she's going to get mad. So I'm saying it here, Michelle. So the idea that everything online has to be more difficult than offline is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Now sit with me here. I know that you're all like, yeah, but the tech, and you're making me do a bot, and I don't like it. It's hard. But the internet was created to make things easier for us, to make it easier for us to connect. That's what the internet was made for. So it is easier. You can literally go open a door for yourself without having to get up out of your chair, without having to get into a car, without having to even knock on the door. The door can open for you. The internet does make things easier for you if you let it. And that's where we want to come from, that place of ease and grace, especially when it comes to showing up online, especially showing up. You can have that ease and grace. Just be like, hey, this is me. No, I didn't knock on your door. You knocked on mine. Hi, welcome. Please come in. How can I help you? How can I serve you? It is that easy, but you have to do it from a space of overflow. And that's where the ease comes in. That's where the graciousness comes in. Like, what else can I help you with? Oh my gosh, there's so many other things over here for you. Go to the foyer and help yourself. That's what we want to create for people. We want to have that from a place of excitement, from overflow, from that higher state of consciousness where we're not saying, okay, I can help you. Let's just figure this out. What do you need? That's changing for me even 2 months ago. Those of you who have been following me for a while, you would hear me constantly saying things like, I'll meet you where you are and I'll get you up here and we'll figure it out together. At this point now, I have so much ease and grace that I'm like, if you're not where I am, let's get you there. But otherwise, no, you meet me here. You come up here. This level of consciousness is where the fun is at. I'm not going down there. You need to do some more work for yourself before you can work with me. And that's fine. I can say no to people now because I have that flow. I have that ease. And I had to let go. It was part of my releasing like a couple of weeks ago. I had to release the fact that, you know what, I work with people who are struggling, with themselves more than their business. And it's like, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm not a therapist. I'm a business coach. I'm not a spiritual facilitator. I've got them for myself. I don't want to do that anymore. And I released that. And once that started happening, my dream clients kept coming down, falling into my lap. Michelle and Ann, 2 of them here right now. Tiana, Miche, Karen, all of these people are like up here with me on this, this level of consciousness where we're like, I don't have to even say it to get it. I know it. And they're coming and they're saying, show me how to have overflow. And I love it. But before this shift, I was getting people who are just like, okay, just tell me how to do a live so that it sells something. And I'm like, that's not what I do. I don't do that. I can help you with that. I can give you some ideas, but I want to raise the level of consciousness here. That's what I'm doing. So once I made room for that, release. Okay, those people, not my people anymore. Everything started popping off and moving again. And then being able to show up with ease and grace with these changes, because you're going to be making these changes, right? You're going to be tweaking things, dropping things, releasing things, adding things, going bolder with things. You'll be able to show up unapologetically with all of this. And that is where the grit comes in. We want to show up unapologetically and very sweetly. I'm changing everything. And I'm not like, sorry for the confusion, everybody, but yeah, we're doing some construction here. I'm like, look at me go. Who's on board? Who's got some ideas for me? Where can I go? Who should I be talking to? That's what I'm doing. And doing it from a place of, I got this, rather than I'm figuring this out. I'm gonna figure this out, because they're both true. Both of those statements are absolutely true. I got this. I got this. I have come a long way in my life. I've come a long way in my business. I have been through a lot. I've overcome a lot. I got this. That is absolute truth. But there's another truth as well. One that is, I am still figuring this out. Every week, I wake up on Sunday and say, okay, what do I have to work with? What do I need to let go? And where do I want to go with it? Those are both my reality. And I like having that. I like having both, because one keeps me going, saying, you got this, you got this, you got this. Look at everything you've already done. And another says, that's not good enough. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Unapologetically, you do not need to apologize to anybody for growing or changing or moving forward or asking for help. Even my assistant Heather's, she's like, yes, please ask for help. Please. So I want you guys to show up. And this is the biggest piece. This is where the receiving starts, really coming in. You're going to get a lot when it comes to finding your breadcrumbs. But when it comes to the showing up for yourself, for your business, for your clarity, for your message, your vision, your mission, your motivators, your values. That's what you're showing up for, not your potential clients. Your potential clients are going to notice it and be like, wow, yes, I want to be a part of that. Your potential clients are going to be the ones saying, I need that. I'm not even 100% sure what that is, but I know I need that. Your potential clients are going to lean in and be like, I have no idea what I just walked into here. She's probably been talking for 45 minutes, but I need it. Whatever I missed, I'm definitely watching the replay. Whatever she's drinking, I want some of that. Can I get it in bulk, please? That's what's going to happen when you come from a place of unapologetic overflow, growth, change. You see everything that you're seeing here? This means something. This is what's happening here. I want to see you guys coming from that place. I could go on for a long, long, long time about showing up. And you all know that it is my biggest thing. When I'm not feeling it, I don't show up and you won't see me for weeks. We used to call it my vortex. Heather knows it very well. When I'm in that space, I don't eat, I don't sleep, I don't do anything but just try to prepare, right? But when I am able to show up from a place of overflow, it is the most lucrative thing that I can do for myself. And it's the most helpful thing I can do for all of my people as well. So give me any questions you have about overflow, showing up, being unapologetic, anything. We have some in the messages here. Yes, okay, yes, Michelle was talking about, I don't want to fix people anymore, I just want out level. Oh, yes, the cocoon. So we don't call my vortex the vortex anymore. It was that since college. Now we call it my groove space. Putting on some music, eating some string cheese, and grooving. It's just my groove space. So that's what that's all about. So one last thing before we go. I wanted to bring in somebody who's more of an expert than me on something very, very specific to this specific thing. I've been around the block, but I am still, a spring chicken when it comes to these kinds of things. But one of the people that has been helping me with my own message and growth, personal growth, and really she's a good mirror for me. Like, okay, that's working for me. Tiana, and I hope she's still here. Let me see. Dr. Tiana, are you there? There she is. Yay! Thank you. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Good. So a lot of the world talks about, The Secret, the book. Yes, I know. The law of attraction, all of these things. And I was talking to Tiana, there's a big announcement coming this week, guys, when it comes to manifestation and everything. And I was talking to Tiana about it and a couple of other things, opportunities that have been presented my way. And I'm like, I think I should do this. It feels crazy, but I really feel like I need to follow this breadcrumb. And what do I do? And she's like, well, is it the right vibration? And I'm like, well, it literally is the vibration. So yeah, I think I should. I've never done something like this before. It was always a hard no for me. And so she presented the idea of where the law of attraction stops. That's where a lot that we don't really even know about starts. And it's the law of vibration. Like you could be attracting absolutely everything that you need. And it could be literally like dropping itself on you, giving you a concussion. And you don't know it because you don't have the right vibration. So Tiana, that's as close to an explanation as I can get to it.
You did a magnificent job.
Could you give us some more insight, because you've been working with this for decades?
Oh, absolutely.
Figured this out last weekend.
What's really funny is I was one of the teachers in New York of the law of attraction before it was called the law of attraction. That was decades ago, folks. That's the 80s. This is the new millennium, and now it's the law of vibration. The more you raise your frequency in whatever resonates for you, you transcend. And here's the exciting part. You transcend the mind, the monkey mind, the digging for a million belief systems that you can't find in this lifetime, the big subconscious that they talk about. Oh, the eerie thing. It's easier. You go straight to where the answers are, which is your soul. your heart is the gateway. So I call it our soul set, our heart set.
Mhm.
That's where the answers lie that are ease and grace. And I've been doing this since I was a little girl, understanding the law of vibration without understanding the law of vibration. I was putting hands on boo-boo at age 4 to make it better. And the funny thing is, people
Aw.
never questioned, how do you know where my boo-boo is? They just went there. And because what I didn't realize I had was the gift of clairvoyance, which everybody's born with, but most people haven't, gotten out of their lives. But anyway, so I've been doing energy medicine, and I was telling Jessa, the academy, that she's so brilliantly bringing to life in manifestation form of a website so people can access the academy, is all about awakening awareness, awakening our cellular vibration, or awakening our consciousness vibration. But here's the funny part. I was saying, Jessa, we could do it the old paradigm way, and all healing modalities and anything is a gift. So anytime you can get vibration sent your way, say yes.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, but now here's something that I never, ever, and I told Jessa the same thing. I said, I never, ever, ever thought I'd be saying this, but there is a shortcut that takes energy medicine.
I did not believe it until I
in a
witnessed
patch,
it myself, but there is an immediate
immediate,
to cellular
immediate,
vibration.
and it's legal. It's legal. It's not toxic.
It's not going to make you
And
hot.
non-transdermal. Nothing goes through your skin, so there's no contraindications except if someone has had a transplant, because then they want to keep the immune system and the light down. You don't want to reject an organ, and that's a whole other consciousness talk that we're not going to go here on. But as far as raising your vibration and bringing it into the power of your own
Matching
hands,
it.
there is a company, and I can let Jessa fill you in on all the details, but once she gets more involved, but there is a company that I discovered through God's doorway because I was not looking for it. I even resisted it. But my dog almost a year ago died, and he's my little angel, my furry angel, and you can all imagine when you have furry angels, how they speak to you. And I just said, God, anything, if you want me to do anything, just, bargained. I know I'm not supposed to do that. That's an attachment, but I went there. I bargained. I will do anything that if on me, it will come in the form of an enlightened marketing. I would say, get thee behind me, Satan, because I didn't want to go there. But a friend of mine, I posted on Facebook, and a friend of mine said, there's stem cell patches that saved my friend's dog. Well, I had no idea what they were at the time. I just said, send them to me. I don't care how quick you can get them here at any price. I just need them. They arrived. I prayed over them. I put them on my dog, and literally he was dying. And within 15 minutes, his bark that I was trying to capture for posterity on my phone started coming out loud. That was a year ago. Then he started getting hungry and looking at me like, you haven't fed me in a week. He was dying. He wasn't eating.
No wonder he died.
Yeah, and that's how it started. And then I found out that there's X39 and a whole bunch of stem cell patches, a whole bunch of patches for all sorts of things that not only activate the body's own healing, which I told has been my passion over 4 years. I've been doing it since age 4, but now it's in an affordable form, and it's got an opportunity that if somebody wants to pass it on, can also bless them financially.
They work.
So,
Anybody who hasn't tried these, I know Miche's tried them.
Miche's
involved. I'm getting involved, that's for sure. So anybody who wants more information, this is not, again, not a webinar for Dr. Tiana.
No. I'm so sorry. I get so excited. You know what happens. I can't shut up.
I know. She
We
practically chased me down and put one on me. And I was like,
yes, we want a movement of everyone becoming their highest and best version of who they truly are. Wait, no, I will stay up.
No, it's all good. Anybody who wants that information, reach out to one of us and we'll get that to you. But I wanted to close this today with that thought on vibration, because that's really all it comes down to. If I could have given you this exact same class and been a completely different vibe, maybe not so high vibe, maybe just feeling like, I don't know, all right, I'll get it over with. I just want to take a nap. And you wouldn't have gotten nearly as much out of this. You'd have been like, she is not feeling that. I am not feeling that. But I'm coming from that place of overflow. And generally, yeah, the last like 2 or 3 days have been kind of low energy, like sick kids and fevers and stuff like that. I sit down in this chair. This is my thinking spot in the house. I sit here, I have overflow. I am channeling everything that I just said to you. I could not even tell you where half of it came from. It's that high vibe that we're looking for. The vibration of where it is that you want to be is way more important than how prepared you are. And that's why my preparedness process is more about my vibration. What am I releasing? What's holding me back? What don't I like? What do I want to change? If I could change anything, what would it be? Oh, that thing? I could change that. I should change that. I'm going to change that. And really getting excited about all the little things that you do have control over. Once you release the control idea, then you can really find the little things that you like, I can move that, I can change that, or I don't have to be that, or who the hell said that? Where did that come from? So I want you guys to really play with the idea that it's your vibration more than anything else. As an entrepreneur, that is my number one tool, is my vibe. Those of you who are in sessions with me every day, you know when my vibe is off. You're like, do you just need to take the day off? And I'm like, yeah, I think I do. My vibe is not good, not feeling it. So I want you to think about that more than anything else. Yes, I gave you a lot of tools, a lot of ideas. If any of you need the checklist or the replays, I did like 3 weeks ago now, a very intensive 3-hour training on the 10 psychological triggers, but more the being state. That's step 1. So if you want that, I give a lot of really interesting ideas about all of the triggers and how to really find that within you. You have to really love yourself, especially when you get to triggers like 4 and 5. If you don't love yourself, think like, okay, right now I am amazing. I got this. I do, like, unapologetically. I am good at this. My knowledge is awesome. I am here to do exactly what it is that I'm doing and I'm loving it. Then you're going to have a harder time. You need to vibe there. That is where your vibration needs to be. Unapologetically, this is my jam. I've been doing this for however long. Dr. Tiana, decades. She's unapologetic. So like, since I was 7, I have been doing this. I've never done anything else. I've never had a job. This is my calling. She's unapologetic and people flock to her for what she does. It's amazing. And now she's finding all these hacks and tricks and shortcuts. And I'm like, I want to be you when I grow up. Thank you. So be that person that other people look at and be like, how? I want that. But it comes before you have it. That vibe comes before, not after. It's not an effect. It comes before. So for example, Tiana didn't say, okay, great. Now I'm really successful. Now I can say these things about myself. She's like, no, I'm saying these things about myself and that's where this is going. This is where that's going. Thank you for joining me on the ride rather than anything else. So I want you to sit with that. Where's your vibe at? If you need to create a scale for yourself, 1 being, what's my name? 10 being, whatever I just said was channeled. I hope you wrote that down because I don't know what I said. See where you are on that vibe, that consciousness level, that your place where am I able to literally release so much so that higher source, God, your higher, whatever you want to call it, can literally just come right on in and play around with you and give you exactly what it is that you need. How close are you to that? Where are we with that? Where's your pineal gland? How's it feeling right now? Really sit with that and say, okay, now that I'm feeling that way, what can I do with it? How can I be practical right now? What move, what step, what change, what not move? Maybe I just sit still for a second. No, move, don't move, don't move, don't move. See what happens and go from there. Find where you're at and then see what it is that you can do with that spot rather than try to get to that spot, and then I'll finally get over the hill and that tipping point and all of that. The tipping point is here, not over there somewhere. So I want you to sit with that. Any questions? Thoughts, ideas? This is usually where I open the floor. If anybody wants to tell me I'm crazy, there's that option as well. I know Miche took that one time. One time she did say, okay, you're crazy. Any thoughts? Rachel?
I have a question.
Mhm.
So perhaps I scheduled something and I'm ready to prepare. I'm prepared to start, and then my vibration just tanks.
Mhm.
How do I go into my say master class that I
Mhm.
have prepared for 2 weeks for an hour long, and then my vibration is just that moment?
That
Now
moment.
I know that
Okay.
show up as inauthentic, because if I'm inauthentic, that
Mhm.
do I
So what you need
explain?
to
Hey,
do is to have your set point, your vibe, not be environmentally contingent. So let's say somebody says something nasty, or you get a bad comment, or your boyfriend forgot your birthday, or whatever it might be. That is circumstantial. That is not your vibe. That's your circumstance. And your truth is in here, not out there. I mean, and it can be tough. It really can. I'm going through a divorce. He wants custody. He's giving me summons to court. It's cold. I moved away from the Caribbean. I have a lot of different environmental things right now that could really be messing with me. And they're not. I sit down in my spot and I have my truth. And that's where the release comes in. Release the boyfriends, release the custody battles, release the grocery bills, release it, and find the truth there. That's why I say don't start preparing. Don't make your checklists or anything like that for yourself until you've released all of it. Like, what if this was nothing? What if every single opportunity that I've created for myself didn't exist right now? And how do you feel about that? Like, before, let's say a year ago, I would cry and be like, no, I worked too hard for this. But that's circumstantial. That's not your truth. That's a circumstance. And those always change. Always, no matter what. And especially if it's something like, okay, in 45 minutes, am I still going to be angry about this? Probably not. I gotta let that go. Release. And it gets harder the further out it goes. It's like, okay, a year from now, am I going to really care about what just happened today? I'm probably still going to be a little annoyed. Okay, that's harder to release. So we need to find bigger tools. And that's where you need some help. Get the help that you need. Always be growing. Always have somebody facilitating you. Always have somebody saying, stretch, just stretch. It's important to have things like business coaches and things like that, but you need somebody who's going to look at you and say, stretch. That's a limiting belief. What are we going to do about that? I can't believe you just said that about yourself. How do we fix that? We want to always be growing here, because that's how it's really going to work. I could give you all the best business advice in the world, a literal blueprint, do this, and then do this, and then do this, and then do this. But if the work isn't done on the inside, I can't do anything for you. It'll look nice though. It'll look really pretty. But that's all you can do for yourself. So really, when you're feeling your vibe fall, is it your vibe or is it your outside? So make sure that if your circumstances are making your vibe fall, that means that your vibe is not strong enough. It doesn't have to be high or low, your vibe. It needs to be yours. It needs to be strong and steady. If it goes down, it's still yours. If it goes up, it's still yours. And once you have that, you can just say, oh, I'm going to bring